This week in Jamaica Now.
The order and all the measures therein under the Disaster Risk Management Act will be withdrawn.
Prime Minister lifts COVID curfews and several other restrictions, but a few will remain. How government ministers rolled out without masks for Shenseea's album launch. It has not escaped the Prime Minister.
With what I saw yesterday, where some people were starstruck and forgot their senses, I believe they should be fined.
And he has issued a stern warning to people sending guns to Jamaica. Then, horror in Hanover. 7 people shot, 3 fatally as workmen install security cameras at a supermarket.
I'm buying out for peace for this situation, what's going on.
Shock as a 12-year-old Rae Town boy collapses and dies after a game of football. Friday morning fury on Maxfield Avenue. Residents protest police killing of an alleged gangster. And NWC warns of water lockoffs to contain energy costs amid world oil crisis. I'm Damian Mitchell and this is Jamaica Now. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has lifted the COVID curfew in Jamaica and reopened the entertainment sector. The Prime Minister has also announced a $150 million loan facility for the entertainment sector, and there will be a 50% cut in the fees for event permits. But venues will only be allowed to accommodate up to 70% of their capacity.
While we acknowledge that the pandemic is not over, it must be mainstream into the general normal management of public health, safety and public order. It is no longer sustainable to manage the pandemic as a special project by executive order through the Disaster Risk Management Act. However, risks still remain and continued vigilance is necessary, especially for vulnerable populations.
In the meantime, several protocols will remain, but now under the Public Health Act. Here are some of the measures that will remain. Persons who test positive will be required to isolate, and labs will be required to protect the privacy and identity of persons testing for COVID-19. Until April 15, there will be mask wearing in enclosed spaces to which the public has access. Mask wearing in general will be recommended, but is not mandatory. And COVID-19 testing 3 days before travel to Jamaica will remain until April 15. Dancehall artist Shenseea turned out this week to launch her debut album Alpha, and at least 5 government ministers were there. But only the Culture Minister, Olivia Grange, was in her mask as mandated by law. It did not escape Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who has fined each of the ministers $100,000.
Minister Grange, who is used to being among stars and kept her mask on, I am appointing you, Minister, to collect $100,000 from every minister who went here. And Madam Speaker, make a donation to a worthy charity. Yes. Or to the defense of anyone who is so charged.
And the Prime Minister has warned people sending back guns to Jamaica that they will be targeted. In recent months, there have been 2 major gun hauls directly from the United States.
I have a word for all those overseas sending back guns to Jamaica in barrels and TVs. Stop it! Stop it! We will find you and we will ask for your extradition back to Jamaica to serve time in a Jamaican prison.
The police have now detained several people in connection with Wednesday night's murder of 3 men at D&K Supermarket in Santoy Square near Logwood, Hanover. The murder victims have been identified as Michael Smith, 55-year-old construction worker of Logwood, Hanover, 37-year-old Mark Austin, a construction worker of Orange Bay, Hanover, and 43-year-old Omar Mahabi, otherwise called Ripe Peg, a businessman of Orange Bay Road, Logwood. 4 other men were injured in the attack. The police theorize that the incident was part of an extortion racket.
As it is now, the police are looking at some strong leads, and whilst we can't say much more at this stage, somehow confident that we'll get to the bottom of this and hold those who are responsible and put them before the court. So work continues, and work, and based on what I'm seeing, based on what I'm picking up, it's going to lead to a very good outcome.
The shooting happened as security cameras were being installed. It has left residents shocked.
Me frightened.
You think they will be targeted by setting up cameras and the gunman?
Why me don't know? Me they say me don't know. Me don't know. For me don't know them. Me don't know like them. They say every man displays them. So
I don't know where this is coming from, but this is not right because that used to happen before. And me grow up, me a 54-year-old. And in my young days, and my growing up and this and badness and gang and this and that, I never see this thing happening. Right now, I see this thing happening now. You know, nice. So when I like to put it on the news and tell them, say, boy, just relax themselves for the crime, or who want it coming themselves, or whatever, and deal with the law, and deal with the thing properly, because it's gonna be more dangerous.
Sadness overwhelmed the Rae Town Kingston home of 12-year-old Holy Trinity High School student Karuki Moncrief this week, a day after he collapsed in his community and was later pronounced dead at the Bustamante Hospital for Children. His mother, Juliet Irving, was beside herself with grief when the Gleaner visited the William Street family home. She said Karuki, who was asthmatic, was wheezing when she took him to the Kingston Public Hospital on Wednesday morning sometime after 6 o'clock. He was discharged in the afternoon after undergoing some tests and x-rays. Irving said that Karuki went home and later engaged in his favorite pastime, playing football. Sometime after the game, he was reportedly found unresponsive. He was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Still in the corporate area, as upset residents blocked sections of Maxfield Avenue on Friday to protest the fatal shooting of alleged gangster Emilia Morris. Morris was also known as Papa Sting. Residents claimed that he was innocent and that he was a peacemaker. Morris was reportedly leaving a bar he operates when gunfire was heard. He was later found suffering from gunshot wounds. Amid the protest Friday, motorists had to seek alternative routes to avoid traffic.
The justice, not the writers, and the writers, so them shot him. One of the inspector them was listening to us, then him say, when Indicom come, we tell Indicom cause him don't care. That's the end of it. We block the road, we light the fire, and we not stop protest because them kill him innocently. When them leave him here, so him have a handcuff and everything. Yes, when he reach a public, I have video with them killing my uncle. I have video with them when they reach a public with a man lie down, so with him bend over, so and him don't have no handcuff.
Question, this person in question, I heard that he's the Don.
Him is not done. Him is not done. Him is a peacemaker. He make the party them and everything I want.
The National Water Commission is warning customers to brace for water lockoffs as it moves to contain rising expenses amid escalating world oil prices. The Russia-Ukraine war has triggered global increases in fuel prices, which means higher energy costs. According to the NWC, it must take urgent steps to cushion the effects of the rising costs of its operations.
On average, you're looking at $970 million, give or take, compared to what we have assessed to be about $750 million per month. So right there, it's almost about almost 30%, close to 30% increase.
Over 3 months.
Over a 3-month period.
The NWC says customers will be given adequate notice about the selected facilities for downtime. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page. Subscribe today and turn on your notifications. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, a retired farmer in desperate need for help for himself and his wife.
Me no like that about it, Every time I talk about it, I have to cry. You see, it is so hard on me. That's me have to cry every time we talk about it. Yes, sir, because I have help. I have a daughter where she leave here from 1993. And my wife takes it 94. And I'm happy upon them with her, doctor and everything. And she goes and married a man and come back here with two girls. And then I have nowhere to live. And we give her a place where we make up our house. And she lived there. But she just look after her husband and them picking them. Tell you the truth, sometimes we have 4 days. She don't come look for her mother.